I'm Heather from HGDesignsCrochet and this is episode 1 of my new podcast. It's going to be about crochet, knitting, journals, books and anything other crafty stuff I can put in there. So about me, I'm 27, I'm from Leicester, England, UK, and I live by myself with my lurcher boy Darcy and a very large stash of yarn. So I learnt to crochet when I was 21. I fractured my wrist, I fell over one of my mum's dogs whilst I was at uni, second year maybe, and my grandmother taught me how to crochet for wrist rehabilitation, and I took to it and just didn't stop. So crochet's been a huge part of my life since. I find it so soothing and I use it to switch off. So definitely during uni I would make lots of little mini granny squares on my study breaks, and by the time I'd finished my final exams in year 3 I had like 300-400 granny squares, which I did put together once but then took apart, and that's still in a carrier bag now. And again, when I went back to uni to do my postgrad, crochet was a huge stress relief. I find it so soothing to crochet. I can process what's going on in my mind, but my hands are busy. And also if you go anywhere, you do anything with anyone, you can take it along with you, because I struggle to sit and not fiddle with anything. I'm always fiddling. So when I was at uni doing postgrad, I cranked out some serious blankets, which aren't finished, but hey, it's me. So moving on to my works in progress, I crochet a lot, but recently, January, and today is August the 5th, I have learnt how to knit. So I have knit a couple of pairs of socks. So I'm bi-stitchable, yay! So 3 of my works in progress are all knitting and the rest is crochet. So the first work in progress is in this little project bag that I made myself. It's from a fat quarter. It's been lined in a really bright yellow, and it's the first zip that I've ever sewn into anything. I'm really pleased with it, really proud of myself. It's got my old logo in, and I'll go into my new logo soon. And within this is the second pair of socks that I've ever made. So these are dubbed my purple tiger because they look like tiger stripes, and so many people have commented it looks like a tiger in a workout suit. So purple tiger. These were cast on magic loop, 2 at a time. It's the only method that I've tried so far. I've tried the DPNs, but I didn't get on. I had bigger ladder holes, it's too fiddly, and I like doing 2 at a time. I just feel it's more efficient. I have issues with them having to do extra work. It's #lazy. So this has got my own stitch markers on that I've made. This one is a HG for my initials. That's a cross that I put on a lobster clasp, and on the toes, not the toes, the heel, there's a wing, an angel wing, which matches a Pandora charm I've got. These were cast on to borrowed needles. They're not mine, and I think they are 2.25s. The sock pattern is Judy's Magic cast on Ravelry. It's the second time I've used it. Really enjoy it. These just need casting off. but I can't remember how to, which means I need to YouTube it, and I've been too lazy to do that because I'd rather learn new things. So they're still on the needles, so I'm going to make it a priority just to get those off. Give Isabel back her needles as well. So that's sock number 1. Oh, I almost didn't tell you about the yarn. That's what it looks like caked up. I won it in a crochet group raffle. Love free yarn. And the tag is in my journal. It is Opal's Love Story. I quite like it. It's a bit more scratchier than the hand dyed that I've come across now. Now I'm a bit of a yarn snob, I'm not as into it, but I do really love the self striping, and they were quick to work on because I wanted to get to the next stripe, and I have matched them up pretty well, so I'm pleased with that as well. So they can go away. The next pair of socks is in this Primark makeup bag, rose gold, good old Primark, with a little bow on the front. Another pair of two at a time toe up magic loop socks. I've got to the toe. Stitch marker is another one made by me. I got the charm and made it up. It says dream on it in gold, which just complements this really well. And it's got my orange needles, and these are my KnitPro Zings, and they are size, I want to say 2.5. I can't remember. 2.75s. So we'll see what they're like. At the moment I'm just learning a lot, using different hook sizes, just starting to venture into new patterns. So the yarn is by HomeSpunWonders, who I found on Instagram, and this is their marigold. It's superwash merino sparkle 4-ply. It's so squishy, it's so soft, it's so sparkly. Look at that. It's absolutely lovely. So I decided to challenge myself with a new pattern, slightly more difficult. So I've gone with the Twisted Lemonade, the free one on Ravelry by Karen Scott. That's the sock. Says that it's suitable for intermediate or adventurous beginners. I'd go with adventurous. So I've got to the toe, which you can see, and then I realised I don't know what I'm doing, so I parked it and cast on another pair of socks. So my other pair of socks I'm working on are in this skull print bag. It was made and gifted to me by Isabel. Thank you so much, Isabel. I absolutely adore it. It's got a matching stitch marker, which is skull print. And Isabel is on Instagram, and she is the English Lady Spinner. I'll put it down there for you. She makes all sorts of different bags. Again, I have cast on toes, smaller toes this time. I've got my own stitch markers on there. It's charms that I've bought and made up. That's a ball of yarn, and that one's a heart. And these are on 2.5s. I can't remember what make, but I bought them because they're black and silver, and everything I have is usually black. I can find out the make and put it in the show notes. The yarn that I'm using is amazing. They're a bit messy because I've frogged a few times. Look at it. So this one is by Truly Hooked. The band is in my journal again. This is her Autumn Riches, the confetti version. 75% superwash, superwash merino, 5% stellina and 20% nylon. And I decided to go with another challenging design. So I've done the toe so far. This pattern is the Speckled Space socks. I've printed it in black and white. You can find that on Ravelry. The pattern's by Amanda B. Stevens and it's supposed to be intermediate, but they look so good. I was looking through the hashtag and looking through the Ravelry pictures and they just look stunning. So I've decided to try that, but again, I did the toe, which is the Judy's Magic cast on, which I'm fine with, and then I get to the next bit and I don't know what I'm doing, so I end up parking it, which isn't very good. But I think the problem for me is that my knitting time is really sparse, quite rare, and it's usually after work, at which point I've got no brain power left to work out the next part of the pattern. And with the Judy's Magic cast on, I used the YouTube video a lot more than I used the pattern. So maybe I need to look for the YouTube video that I can follow along, pause, do my bit, follow along, and set some time aside at the weekend to specifically work on my socks, because I would really like to see them progress. And I think I'm going to cast on a vanilla pattern, so that if I want to just pick up a pair without having to think, I can do that. So that would be 4 pairs of socks on the needles and 1 pair completed. I set myself this year that I was going to learn how to knit socks. I've done that. There's a picture on my Instagram of my first pair. I'll put it in here. And now I've done that, I would like to have done one per month, so 1 pair of socks per month. I haven't done that. So if I finish those 3 there, I'll have 4 pairs. But we're in August, so I'm definitely behind. But who knows, I might catch up on myself. So that's my knitting work in progress. Crochet work in progress. Crochet is always going to be my first love. I have two main projects on the go. We won't count all the blankets that I'm working on that I'll never finish. So, been waiting for a yarn delivery, which meant I had to pause on a project. So, of course, you start another project, you don't finish one you've already got on the go. No, 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 no. A friend of mine has just had a little baby boy and I want to make him something. I found this project. It is called the Eco Bunny. It's a free pattern on Ravelry by Lion Brand Yarn. you just sign up and then they send you the PDF. So it's a one skein project. I decided to use this neutral colour, and that's just John Lewis's double knit, their own brand. You use it held double, and here he is so far. So I've got the head, the little knotted hands, and he's ready to be cast off at the bottom. He needs some stuffing, he needs his face, and he needs some ears, and then he's going to be done and ready to gift. I probably should sew his ends in. He's got a pink starfish stitch marker and a fork, a dingle hopper. I don't normally use stitch markers for crochet, and if I do, I use it as a stitch holder when I'm putting the project down. But here, because the head was worked in rounds, I needed a stitch marker to know that I'd got to the start of the round, and I used two so that I left a stitch marker on the round before, so if I made a mistake I knew where to rip back to, because it's not joined as you go, you just continue. I worked him up in, I don't know, 50 odd minutes. I probably could do it quicker now I know the pattern. But he's been parked. I haven't touched much crochet in a couple of days, which is not abnormal for the end of the work week. I'm going to get him finished, get him gifted. I'd like to make one for my niece in pink, glitter pink. And one of the girls at work said she wants one in yellow. I'm not sure if she's being serious, but I'll happily make it. Then the other project I'm working on is a blanket, but for once it's not for me. So I have decided to start using my crochet, my knitting as a little bit of a second income source, a bit of a side business. I love crocheting, I love making, and it'll be nice to receive a little bit of money from it. Not to live off, just so I can buy myself more sock yarn that I enjoy. And also it's a nice feeling that you're working on a project that you're being paid for. So a girl that I know in real life approached me. I think she saw my Facebook crochet page, HGDesignsCrochet, and she approached me by email with a picture of a design that she wanted with slightly different colours. I'll put a picture in here. And she asked whether I could make a double-sized bedspread for her and her husband, so decided to go for it. With the pattern, I searched and searched on Pinterest, Ravelry. I couldn't find the pattern, the circle with the granny square. I've seen it before and I've tried it before myself, but I couldn't get it. I'm a bit impatient and I just switched back to something that I know how to use. But here I had to persevere. So what I did was I took a free pattern from Ravelry that showed you how to make a coaster and just modified it to create the circle that I needed with the amount that I needed to create the granny square off it, and then created the granny square. So this is the prototype. Not in the colours she requested, but what I had handy. I'm really pleased with it. This is just done in some Stylecraft DK. I'm really pleased with it. So I ordered Paintbox Yarns for Darnisha's blanket. my first time using Paintbox Yarns. I'll show you the colours. Oops. So she wanted navy blue and purple centres with the grey border. So the grey border, it's Slate Grey by Paintbox Yarns. It's colour number 105. Then I used the navy blue for the centre, half the centres. Paintbox Yarns again, and it's 137. And then purple, I've split the band on this one, sorry. That's shown up a little bit darker, it's much richer in real life. And it's number 144. So I got started. I've got 56 squares of 72, so there's really not much to go. This is the purple, which again just looks a little bit dark. It's much brighter than that. And then there's blue to go with it. And they are different colours, they just look too dark on here. Maybe I'll insert some pictures. I've started joining, but I had to pause because I'd miscalculated how much grey I would need. I had to order some more, and it came from the UK warehouse the first time, and the second time it came from America, so I had to wait even longer. And I was slightly worried that if I joined everything I already had, the 50 odd squares I've done, they might end up being darker or certainly a different shade to what I'd just ordered. So the bottom would be darker and the new ones I'd do on top would be lighter. So I've waited, but in actual fact, that's not, let's find one that I've sewn the ends in on. This is one I did with the old wool, the first order. And that's the new wool. They look identical, so I am really pleased with that. Let me gather up the squares to show you how many I've done. Not all of the ends are sewn in, but a lot of them have. Go me! Stacks and stacks of squares. Oh! 56. Over half are sewn in, so I'm pleased with that effort. So I need to get that finished, get that sent off to her. She said she wants another one, so that would be good. My hot Ribena. I don't like tea or coffee. I have a hot juice because I'm a child. So what else? Well, carrying on with the side business, side hustle side of things, I have my new logo. That was made for me by Jane Bond. She is at Jane, Jayne Bond, no, Jayne 007 Bond, put it down here, on Instagram. If you want any logos or any design work doing, get in touch with her. I'm really pleased with them. She designed the business cards for me, I ordered them, and I've not put it into the right window and it's got these slight marks on the top. That's my fault. I'm still really pleased with them. It's got all of my social media on there, so my blog, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter and my email. I'm really pleased with those. They are going to be sent out with any orders I send out. And also I had to get a new logo done because I've got a new little venture that I am launching very, very soon. So I am equal parts excited and very, very nervous about doing this, but I've been thinking about it for a long time and I've decided to go for it. So HG Designs is launching a sock box subscription box. So every month there will be a box put together, and it's going to have enough yarn to make a pair of socks, so 100 to 120 grams depending on whether there's the contrasting toes and heels, of luxury yarn by a indie dyer, hand dyed. Each box will be themed. It will have stitch markers in to go along with it as standard. You need those for your socks, and it will have bonus secret goodies. So each month will have a different theme. The launch box is going to be mermaid, so I'm really excited for that. I cannot wait. Hannah from HG Yarns, hi Hannah, she's going to be the indie dyer, and she has a mermaid skein, and wow, it's just stunning. I'm really excited to get my own, let alone anybody else get them. I've got mermaid stitch markers. There's a sneak peek on my Instagram. I don't want to show too much just yet, but there's a sneak peek on my Instagram if you want to go have a quick stalk. My Instagram is at HGDesignsCrochet. There's going to be, I just can't wait. I think what I'll do in my next podcast is just run through the contents of the box to show you all. But right now it is slightly secret for all those that want to purchase. It's going to be £30 plus postage. Everything's UK sourced, UK based. So I'm really pleased, really proud and scared. So scared. It's going to be like a collaboration of all the amazing indie dyers and all the other things out there, stitch markers, soap makers, sock blockers. There's so much in store for the boxes coming in the future. I've got so many ideas, so I really hope you all enjoy them so I can make more of them. If anybody wants to be involved, if there's any yarn dyers or anyone that makes stitch markers or notions or anything knitted related that can be included, then just contact me. All of my contact details will be at the end of the podcast, and they're in the description box at the bottom, show notes. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. And just to add, they'll be usable by both knitters and crocheters. So there won't be a pattern in this box. There will be in some of the future boxes, but that'll be a rarity. I've decided to go with that because I've found in my few months of sock knitting that everybody has a different construction method, whether it be little circular needles, magic loop, DPNs. Some people even do them on 2 needles and stitch them together. Everyone loves a different pattern. Everyone's got their go-to vanilla, or you might already know what your own pattern is that you love going to, that you've made up yourself. You probably know how many rows you need to get to your toes and all those clever things. So there won't be a pattern, which means it's just versatile for everybody to use. You can use the kit and you can make it your own with your own pattern. So I'm going to really look forward to seeing the hashtags and all the different socks that are made with the boxes. So yeah, crocheters can use them as well because there will be enough there to make crochet socks. Knitters can use it. You could even add them, make shawls out of them if you didn't want to make socks. There's so many different ideas that you could use them with. So that's really exciting. So the packaging will have the logo on. My blog's going to be updated with the new logo. So there's lots and lots going on. I'm really excited. It's still quite nervous. Yeah, so that is that. Just one other stitch marker to show you that I forgot. This is a, whoops, my HGDC stitch marker. Well, it's on a loop, so it's more a round marker, but I love it. So yes, look out for the launch coming within the next few weeks. If you want to get involved, just get in contact with me. I would love to do collaborations with so many wonderful people. If you've got a theme in mind, bring it to the table. I am happy to try many different things. So, going on with the little side hustle, my blog. So my blog has been neglected a little bit. I last posted when I'd just come back from holiday with my cousin. Hey cuz. We went to Skegness with her children and some friends, and it was lovely, and I had Prosecco and so much crochet time. It was wonderful. I started this blanket, my granny stripe scrap HGDC crochet blanket, and I made so much progress. And that was my last blog post, and then Chantel, my cousin, became unwell again with the dreaded C word. We found out that it spread a little bit more, so that my blog got put to one side, but I have been thinking about it. I have got loads to put on there, so in the next coming few weeks there's going to be more posts. I've got posts on journals, my socks, I've got patterns coming up, this square which I've called Dom's Circle Charms, that's going to be on there. There's going to be a whole section on my HGDC Scrapball Challenge. So anybody that follows me on Instagram, you will have seen the hashtag, and I am going to do a whole podcast solely dedicated to that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but the general premises of it is that you use all your scraps, like what I've got up here, or your small bits, the random balls of yarn that you're not quite sure what you're going to use, and you create a scrap blanket. So I've created that one there. That is just a simple crochet stripe, which I will show off on the podcast. I've got the granny stripe, which I really do adore. I've tried a bit of corner to corner. I've seen some amazing ones, which if you go look at the hashtag you will find, but for me I wasn't that great at it. And I've also done the Dom's Circle Charm, which looks great. The only thing I'm going to do is go back and change this bit of colour here. Where it goes into the next round, I've decided the colour has to stop and it has to change, and that way then I feel really happy with it. I don't like it going into the next because I feel like it's bled through and the pattern's not as clear. So I'm going to show all of these. This has got 10 rounds on it. Darmisha's blanket's got 6. So there is a big size difference. I'm probably, if I do continue with this, because I'm a bit scatty, I start everything and finish nothing. The circle centres, I might do them all white or all pink. I've toyed with the idea of all black, but black yarn is a bit difficult to work with. I crochet in the evenings. We're heading back towards winter. Black yarn's a lot harder to see. It picks up all of Darcy's hair, which annoys me. But it will look so good with all the colour. So I've got to work out pink, black, white. Comment below, let me know. Let's put it to general vote. Let me know. I think I'm going to do join as you go with whatever colour is in the centre. So for this it'd be pink, if I decide to go with pink, whatever you decide to go with. I'm going to do join as you go, and that's going to be another blanket. I love making blankets, especially when they get warm, like big enough for you to sit under while you're working on them. They're warm. Oh. So there's going to be a podcast on that. It's going to have the hot water bottle cover that I've made using the HGDC Scrapboard Challenge. Yes, it's August. No, you shouldn't need a hot water bottle. But if you're like me and you're always cold, the aircon's break at work and you have to sit there in a hoodie, scarf, and you need a hot water bottle, I've got the pattern. And we are heading towards winter, so you can get making on them. So that pattern needs to go on my blog, as does the Dom Circle Square, Dom's Charm Circle I'm going to call it, and the review of the blanket and the Paintbox yarn when I'm finished. What else is going on the blog? All the details about the subscription boxes, and a few other posts, so keep an eye out on those. I will post on my Instagram once I've updated the blog, so go follow my Instagram as well. Oh, and another pattern I've got in mind with the Scrapboard Challenge is I've got some clear handles that I want to make a crochet bag out of, so that's got to be done. And there's also a cushion pattern knocking about in the back of my mind, and I think I've got a cushion pad spare still, so that could work. So all of that is to come, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that uses the hashtag already. Every Saturday I do a showcase and I show off whoever's used the hashtag. There's been something like over 100 uses of it, which is just amazing. And some of the patterns and blankets and designs that come out are just stunning, and everyone agrees with me when they say that making a scrap blanket is really fun and really rewarding, because you already have the yarn, so you don't have to spend any money. It's a good way to use it all up because they might not go in colour, but when you do this you can just mash everything together. And a lot of yarn holds memories, so for me, I remember buying certain yarns and I have memories that go along with them. I know that this pink is in a blanket that I made whilst I was at uni, which I can show you next time. And also the blankets hold memories anyway for me, but people are saying that they look at their scrap blankets and it brings up all the memories of all the different things they've created. A bit like when you do the crochet granny stripe out of sock yarn that seems to be all the craze at the moment, which I also want to do. People can point out what yarn was for what socks, and I can point out in my blankets what yarn was for what project, so that's really nice. It's a good way to use them all up. So I think that's everything for now on that. Look out for the next little, I'm going to do a mini podcast purely on that. So then that just leaves now books. I am a huge book reader, massive bookworm. Last year I read over 100 books. I'm on Goodreads, I put the details at the bottom. Big effort last year, 100. I was reading on the last day of the year to try and get to that 100, but I did it. This year's been a lot slower, but I've been doing a lot more on my crochet and my knitting. So the taking on orders, the socks, and I stopped reading in the evening, and I used to spend days and days and days reading, my weekends reading, and that slipped a little bit more because I've been going to my crochet groups. I've took on a lot more classes like gymnastics, so reading's took a back seat, which has made me a bit sad, very sad really. So I've made a big effort to read, even if it's only for 10 minutes every evening. I think I've read 15 books so far this year, which is just so tiny. But also I've noticed that my reading tastes have changed, and I was still trying to force the old books onto myself, and they just don't hold the interest as much. So I'm a massive Twilight fan. You can see books behind me. This shelf here is all Twilight, and it's in multiple formats. So I have the Twilight series with 4 different front covers, as you do, I've got the new limited edition special anniversary edition. Thank you, Emily, I love it. And further down I've got the Britannia books. There's vampire books all the way along, vampire books behind Twilight here, and more vampire at the top. Supernatural, vampire has been my jam since second year of uni, which was 2012. But recently I've changed and I'm more into my girl boss type books, so anything that helps push you forward as a female business owner. And I'm also more into my self-development books. I read The Secret, which I have lent to a friend at the moment, and I swapped for another book. And I'm currently reading Big Magic, which I've got here. It's called Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, which I have tried to read when I was maybe 17 or 18 and it had no meaning to me, so I might try it again. This book is all about living with your creativity, try not to be held back by the fear, pushing yourself forward, and it's been really useful because I'm trying to set up the sock box and I keep getting all these little worries and doubts in my head. What if I'm not good enough? What if no one wants them? What if I fail? What if? And then I'm picking this big book up every night, and every worry that I seem to have in my head, this seems to just deal with there and then. So it is doing wonders for my mind. And as well, because the sections are quite small, I could just read that as one section and then I feel instantly gratified that I have read, and I don't need to read a whole chapter, so it's helped ease me back in. I'm on page 202 of 272, so maybe I could get that finished this weekend and move on to another one. So far I would definitely recommend, if any of you out there struggle with your self-confidence in your creativity, or if you just feel that, if you ever feel like somebody else out there has an instruction manual on how to adult amazingly and how to market themselves and just be amazing and just champion themselves, and you missed out, this is your instruction manual of how to champion yourself. And normally I don't use bookmarks, but I've found that in the last year definitely there's so many more demands on my mind with my day job, with everything I'm trying to put together, that I don't always remember my pages anymore. And so just to take that added thing in my head, so I don't have it floating around what page I'm on all day, I've started using bookmarks. I've got some really nice bookmarks that I've made myself, that people have made for me. This one was made for me by my grandmother, the one that taught me how to crochet. She drew it herself. She's a very talented lady. She knits whilst watching TV with her eyes closed pretty much. She crochets, she does decoupage, or hand painting. Very talented, and very precise. Everything's done right. My mum loves to make cards and she's trained as a dressmaker, so I've had that all passed on to me. I've got lots of lovely bookmarks, but I don't use them. I use whatever's there in my life. At the moment I've got a shopping list written by my nana on the 16th of July, so that's when I must have started picking up this book. I love collecting people's handwriting. I just think it's lovely, I love that I have her writing, and what I'll do when I finish the book is this will go in my day-to-day journal, and I'll probably write next to it that I was reading Big Magic and the date I finished. Slightly sentimental, just how my brain works. So, shopping list in my book. Another good book that I've read recently is Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. I would 110% recommend that. It really opened my mind, it really made me feel empowered and helped me champion myself, which is something I struggle with, and it's got these amazing illustrations in it which are now on my wall in my nook, which is where I do a lot of my crochet and reading. It's on my vision board for this year, and it's on my wall in my bedroom to see in the morning. So yes, go read that. If any of you have got any recommendations for any self-development or business orientated small business startup books, then please let me know. I'd love to read them. Just one last thing and then I will be going, is that back in June, I think it was like June the 7th or 8th or something silly, was my 1 year anniversary on Instagram at HGDesignsCrochet, and I wanted to do a giveaway. That also coincided with the time that Chantal was ill, and I spent 3 weeks in hospital with her, which is where I wanted to be. So Instagram didn't get the love, but I did buy the stuff. Look at this. It's a really nice like neon green, lime green through to like the teals. It is Warcraft cakes in shade 04. There's 200 grams here, and it's an acrylic and wool mix. It is stunning. So that's going to be part of my anniversary belated birthday giveaway. There's going to be other goodies that go with it. I'm thinking of making a project bag. There's going to be stitch markers, a couple of other things thrown in there. That's what it looks like made up apparently. So there's a giveaway coming. I'm going to put that on my Instagram. I'm going to put that on my blog, and I'll show you, I will tell you how you can take part. So that's everything. So that just leaves me to say thank you for watching episode 1 of my podcast. I've done it, I've made it, well done me. Thank you so much for listening, watching. If you liked it, then if you could give it a like, subscribe, share, comment, send me lots of love, that would be great. I'm going to do these once a month. I'm going to record on the first weekend of each month, but there's going to be mini podcasts in between, so the HGDC scrapboard challenge and a few other things that I've got going on. That just leaves you to follow all my social media. So it's not showing up very well. I have got my blog, www.HGDesignsCrochet.co.uk. I'm on Instagram as HGDesignsCrochet. I'm on Facebook as HGDesignsCrochet, and I'm on Twitter as HGDesignsCro, CRO. And then my email address is heather@hgdesignscrochet.co.uk. So follow, like, share. Let me know you've watched this, so I'm not just speaking to my mum, hygiene, or anyone from work that thinks I'm crazy. Hi guys. Hopefully there's someone else watching. So take care and look out for all the new updates coming, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.